our presentation, what we're going to do is demonstrate our prototype. So Brian is going to come up here, and he's going to make it rain for us. So, just on the top.
I should be doing this. Dave can't call
This demonstration is to show the attachment that you would put on a rain fly for a tent, and it's kind of rough because it's duct tape, so forgive us. But what it would show is how the rain fly would collect the water and purify it to use it for drinking water for people that backpack, so it would be an attachment for like a backpacking tent.
We were really intrigued by this idea because, and other ideas kind of related to this that led to this final one, because we were really intrigued by different ways that objects related with water. Like some things wanted to avoid water, protect you from the water, and others wanted to capitalize on the water for drinking and other things. So we wanted to find a way to make those two really seemingly conflicting goals work in tandem together, and this is kind of what we came up with.
So what we started our project with is we actually were going to do something like a clip-on water bottle with like an umbrella, so that way you could collect the water and have something to drink. And after discussing with the TAs, we found some problems with it, like is there actually a need for this? Would you actually save any time, and will you be in the rain long enough to collect any water?
So a TA suggested that maybe a way to address those issues was to make this tent, and it does address those three issues. It would be out in the rain long enough, it's out all night long. There's a definite need for this. Backpackers need water to survive, it's pretty important. And it would actually save time because then they wouldn't have to go collect the water, they wouldn't have to purify the water, so it would save a lot of time.
So what we did is a little bit of research. Andrew did a survey of some of his friends, and if we would have more time, it'd be more extensive. But we asked two main questions: where do you go camping in the United States, like specific regions, and how much water do you take? As you can see, half of the group only takes enough for the trip, but that becomes an issue if you end up having an extended stay. And then we also did a map of average rainfall in the United States, and I combined this with some research on like the most popular backpacking places. And I found that the most popular backpacking places were in the Pacific Northwest and also in the East. And the top three places that I found were Seattle, Portland, and then the Pacific Northwest Trail, which extends from Canada to Mexico completely.
So then what we did is we went through and sketched up some concepts for how this collection system would work, how the water bottles would attach. And what we eventually ended up going with was something that we wanted still to be really lightweight. So we put raised material on the edges of the tent, and so you see the tent already has, naturally, it wants to go down to those four corners, naturally, because that's how the tent is created. So we just used that and created a funnel that went down to those four corners.
We also did, we found some considerations that we needed to discuss also was overflow. So to fix overflow, basically once the water bottles are full, it just quits collecting and it acts like a normal rain fly. The type of edging material would just be like the same material that the rain fly is made of, and then something similar to like a hospital tubing. It's very flexible, very lightweight. The filters would be something that are like already existing technology for filters. And then we also had to look at the water concentration as the surface area decreased. And so as you go up, it tapers down a little bit, so the bottom is a lot taller than the top is.
So I think that's actually really cool. But the problem is you led with it. So you like led your presentation with the big reveal at the end. And then I've spent now the rest of the time it's sort of like, okay, I saw what you did, and now I'm not paying as close attention to you motivating the problem. So the presentation did not motivate the problem at all for me. It just, and it's one of the things that I saw a lot in talking to the groups is everybody wanted to lead with their solution. Lead me with the problem, motivate me to be excited about the solution you showed to me. So it was just totally anticlimactic in terms of the
I guess the reason we thought about doing it that way was just because we weren't sure if it would be easily understandable if we didn't start with it. So this way it made everyone already like kind of know what our goal was, so that way our process was a little bit more easy to explain.
But in doing that, you start with letting us know what the problem is, and then we identify, we're all on the same page, like, yeah, we got a problem, how do we deal with this? And then all of a sudden you come in and let us know how you address it. I think the prototypes are beautiful. I think that there's a lot of things you really address with this. I mean, talking about, you know, a certain type of hospital tubing, subtle nuances like the fact that the gutters get deeper as it gets down towards the point.
We actually have filters in 2 of these, so.
Yeah, something you mentioned was how could it deal with all of that water? Could the filters actually handle that quickly enough? So we did put actual water filters in there, and as you can see, it does actually deal with the amount of water that it would be forced to.
The execution of the prototype was absolutely excellent.
And I think these diagrams are very informative as well. They let us know the components. And one of the smart things you did was you aligned yourself with an existing product that's already, it's called Fly. I'm the triangle that says that no can. That's me. So whatever that thing is called on top there, I mean, you sort of aligned yourself with something that's there and then elevated that to a new level where it does something more than just, you know, keep the rain off. If the rain is already going to hit it, that's an effect that's already there, and you're just capitalizing on that and enhancing it to become, you know, possibly something that's really beneficial to the camper or whatever use it is. I mean, that's exactly what the prototypes are about. Is that this is, I mean, I got up there, I poured water on it, it's collecting water. I mean, it's going to go through many more prototypes and things like that, but I think that's the essence of why we're doing these tests. I mean, they're really rough, I mean, it's ugly, but it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? I mean, and the fact that it was a really smart move, I mean, I showed that video from last week to many, many people. I think it was really smart to identify that there's a similarity between an umbrella and a tent with the way that there's a membrane and the structure underneath it, and it gives you the ability to make something that tests it without having to make a full-size tent. Really, really smart move with it. Okay, good.
Good.